Hi there. Here we are outside the Charles Addams Museum. Who's Charles Addams? Let me give you a clue. That's right, he invented clicking. And also, inside, the walls are lined with some more of his inventions. Art. The plaque for this illustration is written in black font. But who is Charles Addams? A road worker? A monster? Or somewhere in between? He's the best American artist ever, besides Norman Rockwell. Actually, not as good as Norman Rockwell, better than Kanye West. It's where he fits. But where he fits best is Westfield, New Jersey, where in 1912 he was born. Being the distant descendant of the Buzz Aldrin of US presidents, John Adams, Charles Addams would lead a slightly different life to that of his ancestral second president of the USA. As a boy, he would walk past cemeteries and old decaying Victorian houses. They were called Victorian houses for they were built during the reign of Queen Victoria. But since America was a republic by then, they should really have been called Addams houses after the aforementioned president. However, these types of dwellings are now known as Addams Family houses anyway, thanks to Charles Addams drawing them as a cartoonist in The New Yorker. The New Yorker is a sophisticated magazine that people read because they want to be seen as sophisticated, and Charles Addams belonged there with his ghoulish, macabre drawings. And that would have been that, if Hollywood hadn't come a-knocking and turned his macabre Addams Family into a hit TV show, which you may have even heard of. The character descriptions were written by Charles himself. Morticia, he writes, is the real head of the family, low-voiced, incisive and subtle, smiles are rare, ruined beauty, given to low-keyed rhapsodies about her garden of deadly nightshade, and dwarf's hair. Speaking of dwarf's hair, Cousin It is the cousin of Gomez Addams. Short and shrouded by long hair, he speaks in a high-pitched, gibberish language, which indicates that at least there's a mouth under all that hair. Someone else with hair is Wednesday Addams, child of woe. She loves riding on the school bus, alone, to the end of the line, just to startle the driver. Her doll, Marie Antoinette, doesn't say much. Another character who doesn't say much is the butler, Lurch. This towering mute has been shambling about the house forever. He's not a very good butler, but a faithful one. One eye is opaque. Lurch's mother named him Smiley, and his father wanted him to be a horse jockey. Needless to say, neither happened. Lurch's catchphrase is, "You rang." One of the people who ring Lurch is Gomez Addams, husband to Morticia, if indeed they are married at all. A jolly man, in his own way. Optimistic, he is in full enthusiasm for his dreadful plots. He is the only one who smokes, besides Uncle Fester's occasional electrocution. Uncle Fester is incorrigible, and except for the good nature of the family and the ignorance of police, he would ordinarily be under lock and key. But deep down, the bald-headed ghoul is a romantic. He enjoys long walks along the beach to find washed-up drowned deep-sea diving women. Someone who isn't a drowned deep-sea diving woman is Pugsley, the Addams Family boy. a dedicated troublemaker. One of his many terrible hobbies is to paint stop signs green. In the animated series, he was voiced by Jodie Foster. Someone who wasn't voiced by Jodie Foster yet is Grandmama Addams. Christian name Eudora or Esmeralda, if you can call those Christian names. In different shows and films, she switches from being Grandmama Addams to Grandmama Frump, Morticia's maiden name. Inbred issues in the Addams family, or something else? Maybe she is neither's mother, but a distant great-grandmother who time and dementia have made mysterious. And that's everyone, except for Thing. Thing was once attached to the body of an escaped prisoner, but in an overly enthusiastic attempt to saw off his handcuffs, the prisoner went a bit too far. The Thing scurried away to freedom, while the prisoner grew up to become the voice of Jodie Foster. I think the characters are still popular today because they were the first counter-argument to the perfect, beautiful American family. They show us that it is not only okay to be different, but it is better. Don't worry what anybody else thinks about you. Just be yourself to the best of your ability and you'll prosper. My grandmother took me to see the very first Addams Family film when I was little. Here is the Hoyt's movie stub with faded ink, along with an in-depth review. Wednesday, 4th day of my stay with my grandparents. Went into town with Nana to see Addams Family, about Uncle Fester coming back after 25 years and not remembering who he is. Came home and had a rest. See picture on next page. And then they all are. After this rather great film, there was an equally great sequel, and then a terrible direct-to-video film, a new TV show, and even a musical. But I fear we are losing track of the life and times of Charles Addams. Charles Addams married a few times before settling on the love of his life, T. They married in a pet cemetery, where he would later be buried. After dying, he had wished to be remembered as a good cartoonist, and I think maybe he will be. And here's my favorite cartoon of his. Uncle Fester, letting the car behind him know that it's safe to pass. Or is it? Well, thanks for watching this riveting documentary. And if you want further, more accurate information, go to the T and Charles Addams Foundation at charlesadams.com, which is on the internet. You can also subscribe to my channel if you like, or even if you don't. Da 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 da. Thanks so much for watching.